Hello everyone, this is Geraint and I'm giving you yet another video. This time it's about my new tanking build called the Blockage. And this tanking build is for PvE endgame tanking, so no PvP. And I would say let's go into the details of that. Okay, so for this build I have chosen Imperial as my race. Basically this is the first char I made when the game launched, so it wasn't really that of a hard choice for me. And but in general you can choose any race. This build that I'm presenting is pretty much viable for every race there is. Of course Imperial in this case is quite a good choice with the passives of stamina and health. Talking about health, I put, as you can see, all my attributes into health, so all 62 points for veteran rank 14. Of course you could split it up into health and stamina, but I'm more health type of guy, and as you can see later, my stamina is not really going down because I'm skilled as a blockage tank. So before we go into the details of my skills and champion point setup, let's have a look at my gear setup. There we go. I have to say I don't have all the needed gear that I have planned for my tanking build, the Blockage, because I'm a pretty unlucky guy when it comes to pledges, and I only received one of the gear that I want so far, and that is the Melobeth Scourger's arm cops. It's reinforced. From the infos that I have, reinforced isn't too bad, so infused is maybe inferior to reinforced since 2.0, and this would be also already a good one. So medium armor and with the stamina enchant and reinforced. So what I need is a light or heavy helm for Melobeth with a good trait. So either, I don't know, reinforced or infused. I know for shoulders divine would be best, but yeah, I take everything I get. So I'm not using the set anyways at the moment. But let's get back to the basic setup that I have at the moment. I'm wearing a 5-piece Histbark set, consisting of currently of the helmet, the chest piece, a light belt, the boots, medium, and the pants. And my second set is the 5-piece footman set. So as you can see, I have it full. I have 3 jewelries, all enchanted with shield play. Oh, and the Histbark is enchanted with stamina and health. And I have the shoulders with footman, and I have the gauntlets of footman because the two have divines on them, so it's one of the only 2 parts of the footman set that are actually good, except for the jewelry. And as I don't have the set for Melobeth yet, I'm currently using the Resilient Yokeda hammer and the shield. And as on my second bar I have Shelidor's Curse, shield and sword for the maximum health bonus of the 2-piece set. Again, if you have read my post on Tamriel Foundry, if you haven't, take a look at it, you can see that the gear setup that I posted there is a bit different than I have currently. That's because, like I said, I don't have every gear that I want yet. There are basically 2 possibilities that you can go as soon as you have those 2 set Undaunted pieces. The first thing is, or the first option is, that you can replace the Histbark boots with the footman boots. The only bad part about this is while you can enchant the his spark with any trait you want, as I have currently with Divine, the Footman set you have a fixed trait which is for shield and the other pieces except for the shoulders and gauntlets, exploration, which is basically semi-bad. And use a his spark weapon and shield setup to compensate for the lost 2 spots here. The second option is that you only use one his spark weapon slot, or 2 if you switch around, but not the shield. And for the shield you use the Footman set. So it really depends what you like. I think on my post on Tamriel Foundry I presented the shield Footman gear option as my number 1. It doesn't really matter which part you go. If you don't have a choice, take the one that's possible for you at the moment. So for me, as you can see, I only have one part, so it makes no sense to split it up. Or yeah, I could use that and instead of the Footman and use the shield, but then I would destroy the bonus from the Resident Locator set. So yeah, currently I don't use the shield and I have my Footman boots in my bank, so I basically stay with that setup. So that's basically it gear wise. Maybe a little info to the Undaunted set. If you only find 2 heavy pieces of Undaunted for the head and the shoulder slot, then I would suggest to go with changing the boots to light or medium and the belt to light or medium, depending what you like. I would take the boots as medium since they have a bit more armor than the belt anyways, but up to you. And yeah, that's what I would do. It really depends what you get here. So you can also, if you find medium like I did and get a heavy, yeah, make one of them, make the belt light and take the Footman boots if you want, if you don't like the shield trade with exploration. It's really up to you and depending what you have. So the 2 options are there, choose whatever you like. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's go to the next part, my skill setup. Okay, before we go into anything else, let me quickly show you how my attributes are set up, my main attributes. As you can see here, I am not buffed yet with any food. I only have the boon active with the Lord, and I have maybe not all my skills set up the way I want. Yeah, I've switched the bar now. So let's go back here. Alright, so as you can see, that's my basic setup. If I have structured entropy on, I have roughly 9k, 8.88, 1000k. I have already 30k in health, and I have 14.5k stamina. Recovery is not that high yet. As you will see later, my champion points are not that high yet. I only have around 80 at the moment, so that's not that high, but it's not influencing my stamina loss or anything when I'm blocking. So spell resistance is 23k around, and physical resistance is around 20k. You will see if I activate my hardened armor. If I activate my hardened armor, is that? Yeah, there we go. if I activate my hardened armor, you will see I'm at around 25k with my current setup. That's pretty good. I mean, around 30k would be the maximum. 32k is the mitigation maximum, but I think 25k is quite good. Other than that, let's see how it works with food on. I sadly only have VR5 food on me currently, so I will use that one. I normally use health and stamina ones, but if you feel that you have less magicka for your liking, then okay, you can take the VR10 3 food if you like, and get more, get like 3k more on magicka, and that would put you to around 13, yeah, around 12,000, 12 and a half. I normally don't do it. I normally use my VR5 food. So if you see here, I'm now at around 30k in health, and if I switch to my main bar, I'm at around 34.5k health. Yeah, I just downloaded for this video the extended stats add-on from Haven, so you can see my other stats if you are interested in that. But that's basically it. I also use alchemy because I'm alchemy 50, so it's good for pots, that the pot effect lasts longer. But normally I only use the Pancake of Health, the crafted one. So that's the basic potion that every tank uses, I guess, anyways. So. But again, just as a reminder, sorry, here, I don't have the set yet, the Undaunted set, so some of those attributes here will change, at least the health and stamina ones, because if I put the Mellowbath on, you see that I not only colored it already, I also have 35.5k now, so because of the one piece bonus of the Mellowbath set. So you see, it's really up to you. And I also have stamina on my chest and on my pants, and if you read my guide, I posted that I have health on the major 3 ones, so head and chest and pants. But I saw that I have so high HP already. I have 30k base HP before I use any buffs with structured entropy, that I put just more into stamina. Of course you could go magicka, I mean, go ahead. If you feel that magicka is your problem with this build, put 1 or 2 or even 3 into magicka. It's completely up to you. So if I would put more health here, that would give me, I think, roughly 800 with infused, and I think 650 or something if it's reinforced on those 2 here. So you could add, let's make 700. That would be roughly 1.5k or 1.4k health more, but you would also lose 1.5 stamina. So you would be, now I'm buffed, so I have 18 buffed, so that would put me to 16.5, which is also a lot. I mean, if you feel you need more health, go ahead, put more into health in the major spots and get rid of the 2 here that I have in stamina. The build itself is sustainable with around 14, so unbuffed with food, because sometimes I forgot to use my food buff and I was in a dungeon or somewhere else with like 14 and I had no problem at all blocking and doing my skills. I once even forgot it at the mage, so I was tanking the X's with 14 and I had no problem. I never had to switch once to inner rage, and I also didn't have to take a the synergy from a Templar to get my stamina up, so the spear. So I used everything with normal tanking, so the build is viable with that. Yeah, that's for that. Again, the spell resistance goes up depending on your champion points, like the 75 champion point skill in one of the stars that I go into detail later gives you more resistance on the shield and stuff like that. You get more resistance. You get 25, around 25 with the buff, which is basically up all the time if you're doing major bosses anyways. So you can count with 25k around. So yeah, let's go to the next part of the video. Okay, before I show you my setup for the skills, the 2-piece Undaunted set is, you can basically use 3 different ones. You can choose between 3. So I personally go for the mellowed path because I already have the shoulders, and I'm not so lucky so far to get the other shoulders for the other parts. But you could go for either Malubath or Engineer or Bloodspawn set. It really depends what you get and what you like. All 3 of those sets are viable for the Blockage tank, so that's just before we go into the skills. Okay, skills. For the passives on the armor, I have chosen everything on heavy armor. I'm not doing PvP, but I've chosen the immovable brute skill. I leveled it up when I had time, so yeah, I have activated it. I'm not really using it, but you never know. In case I want to, I have it active. Medium armor, I have Shuffle active. I'm not using Shuffle because I'm using his spark, but if I would ever change the set, the his spark set, I would have still a dodge skill here, so I used Shuffle because you can remove the effects. The other passives I have all put in the points. You don't really use it for sneak. You don't really need it for sneak, but yeah, if you're going the Legerdemain, or I hope I spelled it right, if you go that route, then yeah, it's a little bit helpful. This doesn't really help because we don't use a medium armor full set. I just have it because I had another skill line set up before 1.6 and I just put in the points. Athletics, on the other hand, is useful. It increases the movement speed while sprinting, and it also reduces the stamina cost of dodge rolling per piece of medium armor equipped. Normally in this Blockage setup I only have 2 pieces of medium armor, so there you go. But a little bit is a little bit. Light armor, those 2 I don't have put points in because I don't use a 5-piece set and I don't use a full piece set. So spell warding, on the other hand, is helpful a little bit. We use at least 1 light armor part. Recover is the same, we use 1 part, and same for evocation. Also. What else do we have on the class skills? I have Standard of Might, obviously. I have extended chains for Ethereal Archive and Dragonstar Arena. I'm actually using Burning Embers as of late because it gives you health back, and as a Blockage tank most of the time you're blocking anyways, so if you have a skill that does heavy damage and heals you over after it's done, yeah, why not? It's good. Every healing is good. Engulfing Flames, I use it for my second bar on DPS if I'm at don't know, Mage final phase, Warrior and Hellra final phase, that kind of thing. I have it in my second bar on certain setups. You could also use Burning Breath if you want, but I've chosen Engulfing Flames because I already have Engulfing Flames leveled up, and I think Burning Burning Breath is like level 2 for me, so I stay with Engulfing Flames. Molten Whip, I was just bored and leveled it up a bit. It's okay-ish because you get more damage when you are when you have it slotted. But again, it costs a lot of magicka, and my build setup has not very much magicka. It's as far as I know, you will shoot in detail around 9k or something. So yeah, it's not really worth it. I use Burning Embers and it does good damage over time. We don't need Flames of Oblivion, that's for DPS, but we use all passives here. We have passives here, so basically all your class skills up, the passives are maxed out. Draconic Power, I use Ferocious Leap on my main bar in the basic setup, so bar 1 in the basic setup, that's my ultimate. Hardened Armor for the shield. Burning Talents if I'm in Dragonstar Arena, for example, and have to hold the adds, but normally I let the DPS do that stuff. And Green Dragon Blood, obviously, our heal. Those I don't use. Magma Shell is also one of the ultimates that I switch out, mainly on bar 2. For example, for the last phase of Rako 2 in Helra. I'm not using Stone Fist. Molten Armaments I sometimes use at the burning phase of Mage and Warrior and whatnot to get the heavy attack bonus. So it's basically the only execution skill that we have as DK, so yeah, why not? Igneous Shield is my shield, of course. I use the Igneous one, it gives you more higher damage shield. Shattering Rocks is my morph from Petrify, for example the mages at stage 8 Dragonstar Arena. I'm not using Ash Cloud. Weapon based, I have one and then shield, Pierce Armor, which I go into detail more. Then I have Heroic Slash, Defensive Stance, and all the passives. And the rest I don't really have any points in, but you could, for example, use Restoration Staff to get get range damage, or go for a bow. I mean, I have not skilled bow, as you can see. So armor we already did. World, I'm a werewolf, but I only use the bonus, the 15% stamina regeneration in fight only. I don't have anything skilled in the werewolf line except for Blood Moon that I can turn other ones into werewolves. Soul Magic, I have that. I have the passives all activated. Soul Scatter is actually not that bad if you're a tank, because there are times where you fall below 20% health and you will release 3k damage, so yeah, 3 damage. I mean, I don't want to be below 20%, but if I am, it's better than it was before, where you basically only did damage when you were dead, so yeah. Soul Summons, yeah, it's just for reviving. Guild skills, Fighter's Guild, not really something that we will use in the tanking build for the Blockage. It's only good to have the major passives here. If you go PvP, then of course you can do the Fighter's Guild too. The other skills I normally don't use because I don't need crit, and the Ring of Preservation costs way too much stamina. So yeah, Flow Store pretty good for DPS, so it's not for this skill line. Major skills, Shooting Star, Morph of Meteor, really good if you want to get ultimate back fast and you have lots of adds. Structured Entropy, very important for this build. 8% more health, and you even get health back with the damage over time effect, so really good. All passives done in the Mage Guild, it really helps for when you use Structured Entropy. Undaunted, Inner Rage, yes, it costs more. It really depends what you want to do with it. The chance for the synergy is higher, so yeah, I'll choose Inner Rage over Inner Beast. and I chose it because that's basically my switch skill if my stamina is low, because as you can see, Inner Beast still is going for stamina and Inner Rage is going for magicka. So if my pierce armor is down or my stamina is down, I can switch to that. So for example, Axes if I'm low on stamina. Spiked Bone Shield, I normally don't use it, but it's good to have it skilled up, leveled up. You never know when you have to use it. I don't do PvP, so yeah. Nothing there except for Rapid Pepper. Racial, of course, everything maxed out for the max health bonus, for the max stamina bonus, and yeah, for that little bit of health that, or 2k health that we get back at a 10% chance. Crafting not important, I'm a crafter, so that's why my points are only 65 left, because I got a lot of that in crafting. So that was a lot of talking for maybe nothing. But here I show you my skill bars now. So that's my basic setup. I have Pierce Armor, I have Heroic Slash, I have Structured Entropy, I have Green Dragon's Blood, I have Defensive Stance and Ferocious Leap. And on my second bar I have Inner Rage, Burning Embers, Hardened Armor, Igneous Shields, Defensive Stance again, and Standard of Might in this case. But normally my basic setup is this. So I have Magma Shell normally there. The two bars really change depending on what situation you're in. Bar 1 is pretty much set in stone. You can of course put out Structured Entropy if you want, and put something else in. But I use it for the max health of course, and the little bit of range damage that I can do. And Ferocious Leap to get over 100% health shield for 6 seconds. It really helps, and it's only 125 ultimate, so it's really fast up. And Magma Shell, or like I said, I'm going into detail what I use for what setups I use for different setups. So basically, if we go for veteran content, this would be my basic setup before I change anything depending on the veteran content that I'm going in. Yeah, let's go into detail for the different veteran content that are in the game at the moment. Let's talk about Dragonstar Arena. Dragonstar Arena I would use for Arena 1 to 7 and Arena 9. I would change out Structured Entropy for extended chains, sorry. Depending if I don't have a DPS with me or a DK with me that can chain pull. So if there is no one there that can chain pull, then I will do it. So if you have someone, keep the Structured Entropy and leave the chains out. On bar 2 you could replace Burning Embers for Burning Talons if you want. I normally don't do it because I make the DPS responsible for the AoE damage, so I normally don't change it, but if you want you can change it out. And for the ultimate I use either Standard of Might or Shooting Star. It really depends on you. Shooting Star is a bit cheaper, so, and it gives you ultimate back, so, but you don't have the damage reduction that you get from Standard of Might, the 20%. So it's up to you. If your damage is good, then yeah, go for Meteor. It's better for your ultimate regeneration. For Arena 8, I would exchange the chains or Structured Entropy for the Shattering Rocks, so I can stun and silence the mages for a bit. For Arena 10, the last stage, for the Battle Master, In normal mode I stay with the basic setup. You can of course change on bar 2 the ultimate if you want for Standard of Might again. But that would be it for normal mode. Veteran mode, if you don't have a DPS that can pull the Atronex, if you go for the Atronex route, then yeah, slot the chains again and pull the Atronex and DPS them down with the DPS. Otherwise, structured entropy is always a good thing to have there. Well, that's it for Dragonstar Arena. Let's go for trials. Ethereum Archive, I again stay with the basic setup, but I will change out the ultimate on bar 1 for Standard of Might, and on the second bar maybe to Meteor. It's depending on you. I don't use Ferocious Leap in Ethereal Archive. Again, like in Dragonstar Arena, you can change out the structured entropy for the chains. If you have to pull the mobs, for example at the bridge or on the right side where you have to teleport to the imps, if you have someone that can pull, stay with structured entropy. For the mage fight, I normally put the hardened armor back in bar 1, replace the structured entropy, and put here a complete different setup, or a little bit different setup. I use burning embers here and engulfing flames here, and you could leave defensive stance, second one here, but you can also go for molten armament, so when the mage is at 20% you have a little execute, like I said before, and you can do a little bit more damage with heavy attacks. The inner rage I let on bar 2 because, as I said before, if I'm low on stamina and I can't use pierce armor on the axis, then I use inner rage. As you can see, it costs 3,500, and with our current setup I can only use 2 taunts before I'm out of magicka if I don't use a potion, so yeah. You can use 3 if you use potions. So. And for the ultimate, if we stay on bar 2, I leave Magma Shell. It's basically my oh shit button for the access if I get knocked down, if my stamina is low. And it also, if I'm activating something, everything refreshes my attributes because of the Battle Roll passive. So let's go to my setup for Hell Ra. For Hell Ra, for Raku 2, the first boss, I'm going to let Magma Shell on bar 2 because I use it at around 30% when it goes in his AoE in rage mode, and I can block all the damage and heal me up with Green Dragon Blood if we still get through. After the duration is done and the boss is still up, which normally shouldn't be if you have good DPS, I run the boss around in a big circle in the area. So yeah, that's basically what I do for Raku 2. For boss 2, normally the tank is tanking the boss downstairs, so the one with that pigs or whatever it is, or devilish hounds, whatever they are. I go with my basic setup, so the setup that I showed at the beginning of the video. For the final boss, the warrior, I'm using the same setup as the mage, but sometimes I keep the hardened armor back where it belongs in the second bar, and use that setup that you see here, and use a Standard of Might instead of Magma Shell, because Meteor is good, but you don't get that much ultimate back when the warrior does his big AoE thing, and it's better to have that 20% from the Standard of Might, the health. What else can I say? Sanctum of Video. You won't hear much from me about Sanctum of Video because we are not past the Manticore yet at the time of this video. So yes, I'm a noob, I know. I'm not hardcore, so yeah, so bad, so sad. But still, I can give you some tips for the Manticore. It doesn't matter if you are tanking the Manticore or tanking the Serpent's image below at the Manticore fight. For the trash mob groups before the Manticore, I normally quickly exchange the structured entropy again for the chains. So extended chains, so that I can pull the mobs in, so that our DPS can AoE the ad waves faster. For the boss fight itself, I'm normally the one that goes down to the image, so of the serpent. So my main bar, my first bar, is basically my basic setup with the structured entropy, like you see here, and ferocious leap. On my second bar, I keep that one. I also keep the inner rage. I also keep the burning embers and that, but that I replace. If you want to do DPS when you get back up to the Manticore, you can of course switch to the setup that I use for Hel Ra at the final phase of the boss that I showed before. So the one with inner rage, with engulfing flames, with burning embers, Igneo shield, and whatnot. So you can even, if you are feeling good, you can even replace inner rage and put a damage skill on it. All is fine. You can also use a bow or a healing staff if you want to do a little bit more DPS on the Manticore and don't want to get close. So completely up to you. Okay, that's the setup for trials and stuff and veteran content. So yeah, dungeons again, veteran dungeons. I normally use my basic setup, but if you have ranged fights, like, I don't know, Praxin, you could use bow, like I said before, or healing staff. It's completely up to you. I normally stay on sword shield or hammer shield, whatever I use. One hand shield dual setup normally. So personal preference in that case. Okay, with that finished up, I would say we go into the setup for champion points. Okay, here we are at the champion point setup. Again, if you have already read my post about this build, then you know that I have posted 3 different setups. One for 70 champion points, which is basically the 1.6 base if you have a VR14 character. I also made one for 90 points and one for a so-called finished setup with 360 points. So I don't have 90 points yet because I'm slow and lazy, so I will show you what I have currently. I have, I think, roughly 78 or something at the time I make this video. So let's go into detail. I don't have put anything into the tower. We go to why later. I can start with the shadow because it's pretty fast. I don't put anything in the shadow. The lover is not so good in the later levels with tanking and stuff, but Synergizer at rank 30 is really good. It's 2 ultimate. Anytime you activate a synergy, you're a tank, you're close to the boss, you get the synergy if something is casted. So there is no cooldown on it, so activate those synergies and get ultimate. The only bad thing is it's the rank 30, so you will get plentiful harvest, which is really good as tank. No, it's not. What I do is I put all my points in Mooncalf to get the stamina recovery. I tested around with Arcanist a little bit, but I will remove that. I put everything into Mooncalf, so 30 into Mooncalf to get that thing here. And then for me, this star sign is pretty much done. I only put in 30 points to get the Synergizer. If you want, you can get 25.5 to get a little bit magical recovery if you want to. I mean, go for it. That's what I was trying for, so maybe I'll stay with it, but for my build I I would say 30 on Munkov. Now to the tower. Currently I don't have anything into the tower, but as soon as I'm 30 here, everything else goes there. So everything goes into the Warlord. So if you have 90 points, you will have this one done with 30, and from that on you put everything into Warlord and Magician, which is also good as DK for our Magicka based skills. So, but always put the first points, or put at least, let's say, I think I made it with 50 points or 70 points here, and if you go for the full thing, I think 40 then here. I mean, it's up to you, but always put more into Warlord, because we are stamina based in this setup, so stamina cost reduction is really, really good. But Magicka helps, because like I posted in my build, from 50 points upwards, so let's say 50 to 75 points into 1 star, not the whole star sign, in 1 star, like Warlord, is enough, I would say. You don't really see much difference going upwards to like a full 100. So if you're hitting 50 on the Warlord, start to put some points into Magician, or maybe go 40 or 30 and then put some points into Magician, and then always put one there, so yeah, switch them out, but always have more on the Warlord, because stamina is way more important than the Magicka for us. Let's then go to the Mage constellation. The Apprentice is basically something I don't put points in. Ritual the same, but the Etronak, that's really a good one. So, as you could see before, I'm using sword and mace. That's a personal preference. You can put every point in just 1 star. That is your main weapon. So if you only use swords, put everything into blade expert. If you only use maces, everything in weapon. You get the meaning. Retaliation is it increases your your next weapon attack by 30% after blocking a heavy attack. Yeah, it's kind of okay, yeah. At least it's something, but yeah, it's just a 0.10 point. We want to get to 30, because when you put in 30 points, you get a 15% chance to return, in this case, over 2k damage to the attacker when you block a melee attack. And this can happen only once every 5 seconds. So, since it's a 15% chance, it most likely will take 5 seconds till it procs again. So we are always in block mode normally, so 3 damage, that's good. 75 rank, the Butcher. Yes, it's kind of nice. It's basically a kind of execute, you could say, but in combination with the molten armaments, it could help. And Tactician, it sets enemy off balance when you successfully roll, dodge, or avoid the attack. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not really that important to have 120 points into 1 star sign. I mean, some are really good, but for tanking, Butcher yes, but Tactician I'm not so sure. I mean, yeah, depends what you want to do. Let's go to the Apprentice. Spell resistance, yeah, it's not really something. It's basically a DPS constellation here. So what could be good is the 120 point here in the ritual, but it takes so long to get that thing, that Major Heroism. It's not really worth it in my point, because you would get critical damage buff and mighty. It's not really something that a tank would use. So I find most of the mage constellations are not really beneficial for a tank, except for those that I mentioned. So I mean, you could also put something into Staff Expert here. So if you go for the Tactician, you have to put in 120 points. So yeah, you could do 50-50 if you're doing a staff build also on the second bar, or 50-50 if you go bow, or 100 here, max it out, and 20 something else. It depends. I mean, from my point of view, you can do it. Tactician, nah, I don't know. Not roll dodging that much as tank, to be honest. Yeah, sometimes, but not all the time, like a DPS would do maybe. That's it for the mage. Let's go to the warrior constellation. Let's set the steed. Block expertise. How is the build called? The Blockage. Block expertise. Get it? Yeah. So I'm using. I'm trying to get as fast as possible to rank 30 here, because it, after roll dodging again, yeah, armor and spell resistance is increased by 640, so that's good. Invigorating bash, yeah, we interrupt targets, so 20%, yeah, not too bad. Shield expert, that's good. Increases the armor and spell resistance of equipped shields by 35%. Equipped shields, I really hope they mean physical shields and not the magic shields that you get, the wards, because that's really good. Reinforced also, when activating block, gain a damage shield for a certain amount every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds without a cooldown you get a damage shield, and it's not that small either. So it can take a little bit hit, but damage shield is damage shield. So that's the steed. I put in something into spell shield to get my spell resistance up. It's maybe not something you will do at the start. You maybe want to push to 30 here and then maybe put some points in. Completely up to you. I was testing block expertise and spell shield. It doesn't really change too much if you're over 20, so you could probably do a 25-5 to get to a 30 and then put some points again into block and then more into spell shield. Completely up to you, but block expertise, at least 20 points of your 30, put it in. You can go 20-10, yes, but 20 at least 20. I suggest 30 and then maybe something there if you build it up more. Some of those are not too bad, considering reduced flame cost, frost and damage dealt to you, poison, disease, all not that bad, even the things here, but the rest of those passives are more into PvP, like critical hitting. I'm not sure, I think it can happen that in Sanctum of Video the bosses critical, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't, maybe they do, I don't know, but I don't do PvP, so I'm not critical striking targets because I'm a tank, my crit is not that up, and yeah. What do we have here? The Lord is actually not that bad once you have put some points into there and feel confident, but again, I would suggest to go 120 here. But still, if you are 120, it really makes sense to put even more into heavy armor focus, you know. More armor is really good. More armor means more mitigation, so that's good. Healing potions, also not that bad as tank. We use lots of healing potions. Healing received, also not that bad. I mean, the whole Lord is pretty good, but I just don't like the passives. I just don't like them. It's not something that I use all the time when I'm tanking, you know what I mean? So I'm normally not resurrecting because I'm holding the aggro. I normally be the last one that gets killed, so whatever. If you resurrect someone, same as this, I'm normally not resurrecting anyone when I'm tank. That would be good. It's basically a damage shield, but as you see, I get the same here, basically. Just for blocking, and not for taking a potion. So, yeah. I think it's obvious that for tanking, the steed is better. But of course, if you have 120 points put there, and you start to spread over into other builds, those are the ones to go, I would say. And those three, I would say. Actually, all 4 are pretty nice, but again, I don't like the passive. So, and that concludes the champion point system. And I'm thinking I'm really done with the video. Taking too long already, right? So, if you have any comments, please post them to this video or post them over at Tamriel Foundry on my Blockage build. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm on the U server. I'll put in my contact info after the video. It's at GeraintAmbrosia. If you have any questions, as a little side note, I also had a VR14 Templar tank, which is as of 2.0 a DPS. But if you want to use that setup, that DK Blockage setup, also with a Templar, you can also contact me. I can give you the setup for the skills. It's a little bit different, but the champion point system allocation is pretty much the same. Think that's it. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye. Let's go, Blockade.